All right, everyone, welcome back to Central Coast Disc Golf. This is part 2, round 1 of the 2023 Santa Cruz Masters Cup. I'm your host, Nate Perkins, joined here today with Santa Cruzian, Shasta Criss.
Santa Cruz! Yep, born and raised. A product of De La Viega golf course and disc golf course. Been recreating on this hill since I was about 6 years old.
That's too cool, man. This is one of my favorite spots in the entire United States. It is sitting on beautiful Monterey Bay. We're just about an hour and a half south of San Francisco.
Yep, here we go. So now we're on to the back nine. Another classic par 3 at De La Viega. You got a couple options. You can either hit this gap or go over the top, try to get in some kind of position to scramble for your 3. At least that's how I'm going about it. I imagine these kids are trying to throw low laser beams, get a skip up and a look at it too.
I feel like I've only seen a handful of 2s on this hole in the 7 years I've been here.
I think I've maybe seen 3 in my life.
Yeah.
Probably seen Tony Tran. In the old tee pad, it was more twoable because you can get this really cool roller off. But since they've moved this tee pad further down the hill and kind of made you go through this gap.
A shot.
Well played by Tony Tran.
Well, Gannon going Falcor here and just piping that one through the gap, and you can see he's still 55 feet out with a few oaks in the way.
You can see the wind's picking up a little bit for us here on the back. Hit the gap, got rewarded with a nice flat skip there. It's another one of those situations where I was alluding to Tony Tran. He's amazing how well he can throw mid-ranges at slow speeds. Like, this is an aftershock right here. A little bit of tree, but serviceable.
Just another hole out here where you can't take it for granted. These approaches, these oaks are kind of sitting right at 30 to 40 feet, and you hit and you leave yourself a tester putt.
Definitely. And they're not vertical trees. They bend and do things, so your lines are very specific that you got to hit. You got to hit a gap and commit to it.
Oh, I think he liked it.
And it was tracking.
Funny, Cole and Gannon are actually 2 of the longest putters in the entire game. Like they'll be at 180 feet and decide to jump putt versus throw it. Oh, Gannon getting the top of the nub there.
Oh, come on.
And he is getting daylawed.
Look at this. You can't have a slower roll away than that. This isn't even one of the notoriously sloped places either, but
No,
there's
it's
just
not.
enough.
This is probably the flattest green.
He's almost as far as he was before. But this boy don't miss 2 putts in a row, no matter how far they are.
Gannon Buhr from 50 feet. Stone cold. The iceberg Groves.
Oh, man. I could never get tired of watching that. A little grunt of approval by me.
We'll just walk over to the right side here.
That's another par frame that feels like a star frame, to be honest. You're not really getting much better than a 3 on this hole.
Taking a look at Gannon's third circle 2 putt of the round. Bink. Little kiss off the branch.
A little kiss. It was probably going in either way.
They changed this one up on us. This is hole 11. Typically like a 330 to 350 foot par 3 under the oak trees right there on the right side. And they have pushed this one back. We're playing to the wind chimes basket. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, this is the one that I alluded to a few holes previous that normally would be played at this pin from that tee, but we're trying something different. It's the Masters Cup. It's always changing a little bit, but this is another one of those very, very difficult par 3s.
Yeah, super demanding shape here. With you're throwing over this valley, and it forces you to get the nose up off the tee here, and makes it difficult to shape one at 430. Cole was headed places. Just started drifting a little too
Yeah,
right.
had a little bit too much of that late drift. Out of his hand, we thought he had it. Tony's just throwing as far away from that canyon as possible.
That's a good play there, honestly.
Yeah. He got up there past that tee. If you get on that tee pad, there's nothing. But he scooted by, so he should have some kind of shot. Gannon's trying to figure out what's going on with the wind here. This is one of the more exposed places of the course. We're on the outer boundary, and this canyon to the left is extremely steep, and it kind of feeds down towards the bay and the ocean, so the wind kind of rips around this part of the course fairly more than other parts. Oh, I don't think that hit the ground.
That stayed in the tree?
I think so. This is definitely one of the most risky shots for the 2-meter rule, because you kind of have to get it high enough with a little bit of nose up so you get the height, but then your disc starts floating, and then when they're floating and falling to the ground, it's a lot easier for the trees to catch.
You're going hurricane here, and this one kind of stalling out on you just a little bit too nose up.
Yeah, I did a last-minute disc switch because the wind was a little bit too strong for my flippier one, and it happened to me too.
And you knew it?
I expected it. I didn't know until I got there, but I always kind of had the mindset that when I throw a shot like that, to expect it's 2 meters and then feel grateful if it's on the ground. Did Gannon just lay up a putt?
Maybe a little lucky root right there. It kind of looked like he was sending that putt.
Kind of did.
Oh. A little touchy flick right there, and Tony kind of bleeding that one long.
It is. It's
Is
easy
that the
to
rock
do.
he's flicking?
It's that rock.
Same one.
He throws it in so many different shots. Honestly, Tony and I are very similar. We play with very minimal discs. We could probably get through Daylaw with 5 discs, and probably wouldn't notice too much difference in our gameplay and strategy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What a save.
Tony's little hot putt. That was beautiful. Seen him do that a lot. Tony gets some knuckles from his boy Kai on the bag. It's been great to see him grow up over the years. He's finally starting to play some disc golf and appreciating himself.
And after the 2 meter rule, Gannon's going to bogey, and you are going to unfortunately double bogey Hole 11 is tough.
Yep, it's got some teeth. Not only did I throw a bad shot in the woods, I got stuck in the tree, so it was going to be a bogey, but the extra penalty made it a 5.
So we actually skip over course hole 16 and walk straight to one of the most famous holes here, Gravity.
Gravity, also known as the Lady. Such an iconic hole, it has 2 nicknames.
What's the difficulty with this one?
Well, this is another very steep slope. Everything's pulling your disc to the right. And honestly, I feel like the smartest way is to try to get your disc to land as flat as you can on this. Pick a flat spot and land your disc flat. You can kind of choose to go left of the pine tree or right of the pine tree.
Fortunate little checkup right there.
It's a good sit.
You'll see those just kind of take off down the hill.
Tony Tran throwing a aftershock mid-range. Most people usually throw putters on this shot, but Tony throws mid-ranges like putters. Look at that. Bonus skip up onto the shelf.
And I was kind of wondering if Gannon would jump putt this one. This is right at the end of his range.
Great landing.
You going steady here?
I'm going steady. I like to play this a nice flat shot just left of this V tree that's protecting the pin, because I just found it gives you the most consistent landing. It sits, and
It's exactly what you're looking for.
It's
Just
exactly
kind
what
of a
I'm
little
looking for.
Annie skip.
yeah, this is probably one of the most aced holes at De La Viega, but I have never aced it in my life because I usually play that shot.
Good looking putt from Circle's Edge. Looking at a quality star frame.
Heck yeah, we'll take that. That's what you're looking for on this hole. I think it was a light gravity today. The breath, such an important part. Dr. Smooth, Dr. Tran.
Hole 13. The Anaconda.
The Anaconda.
276. Feels further. You're going up this little hill. Really tight left to right shaping fairway. You can go inside that tree, outside it, over the top of it, but you have to get really creative to park this hole.
You do. I think the best shot is left side with the turnover, hugging it as close as you can to that tree. That's why you want to hug that oak in the middle a little bit more. Brought it a little bit too wide there.
Yeah, this one, that's a much
what
better
you're going
shape.
for.
Oh, and there's the Anaconda
That's
right
the
there.
Anaconda. He would have gotten probably 2 or 3 more meters right there if it wasn't for that thing, but it's going to leave him right at Circle's Edge. The perfectly placed Anaconda.
Ooh, and it's a beautiful shot by Gannon, but that is a tough spot to land. 45-footer, straight death putt.
Right.
This is probably the scariest putt on the course, just as far as the severity of the drop-off behind the pin.
Definitely. This is probably the steepest drop off with the worst repercussions if it rolls.
I mean,
you can't really see here if from this angle you can see behind the pin how steep it really drops off out there.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was in a pinch spot there and grabbed a little cabbage. And this is another really tricky upshot. There's just not much places to land your disc safe, and there we go. Thank goodness it had something to run into on that roll.
That was going to get out of hand quick.
They can.
This is a hole where not only will you roll, but you could potentially just lose your disc. You'll never see it again.
Definitely, or if you do find it, you're probably going to
Just re-putt.
There's about 50 feet that you have, and then there's another drop-off that just is completely steep. You honestly probably need a rope to even climb to get down there.
Gannon looks like he's considering this putt.
Yeah. 2-knee putt. Wow.
Are you kidding me? I don't know anyone else in the field that's even going for that putt.
I'm right with you. Part of me wonders, I'm like, will he be running this putt in like 3 years?
I want to know that too.
Once he gets a little bit more mature, because it's just the repercussions of missing that putt. But Gannon he knows he's going to hit the basket there. That's why he's going for it.
Yeah, that was the putt of the tournament so far.
Yep. I would never run that putt.
He was driving it into the chains, too. He didn't nestle that thing in there.
Especially the fact that he was on 2 knees. Like, how often do you see somebody putting that comfortable just on 2 knees? Definitely helps to have a long torso like he does, but...
Are you guys talking about the shot?
I can't remember. I think I might have been tuned out of that conversation with my little bogey. I can't remember what happened there. That's how you do it.
Okay.
All right, here we have hole 14. This is one that's changed over the years. You can see this big pine tree has fallen over and created this root ball that is basically in the sweet spot to the pin. So you're kind of trying to throw something very straight and neutral, a little bit of hyzer, beat these pine trees, and hopefully get in the circle to get a birdie look. But as you see, there's a road that can come into play also. That was a little inside by Gannon. That was actually a fortunate tree kick. I know he was worried about going in the road there for a moment.
Oh,
That's kind of what I was talking about.
And it's an ideal line. He just needed to be right over that root ball.
Right. Half a meter, he would have been parked. And Tony's like, let me show you how to hit that line.
Right over the top of it. Also just a little too inside.
He needed it to be a little bit straighter. I actually kind of stabled up for this one. The wind was, you can see that branch moving. The wind picked up. I want to make sure I finish left. So I'm actually disking up to a hurricane here. And
oh yeah,
about circle's edge. Cole misses his line a little bit there. Gonna have some work left for his par. Everybody appreciates Tony's effort there.
Yep.
That's a tough hole to bleed a stroke on. Not really one you see bogeyed too often.
It's true. He let that upshot get away from him there and paid the price. Chalk another one up. I always thought it'd be kind of cool to have a stat of how many feet of putting you make in a round.
We need that stat.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
We've seen
he's
the counter at the bottom.
Right. He's in like well into the hundreds of feet at this point.
Yeah. I think that's his fifth 50-footer.
Right.
No.
A little bit right. I thought I had it, just didn't. She didn't gobble it up for me.
It's wild how straight you can get your hyzer putt to fly.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't swing too much. You're usually kind of hyzering straight, not swinging too much from right to left.
Yeah, I'm pretty much keeping it in the basket to circle's edge. Once I get outside, closer to 40 is when I have to aim a little bit outside the basket. Clean this one up and head to the finishing hill. After we watch this beautiful putt. Okay.
Just burying those PA3s, man. That is...
I love the exhale when it goes in. Did you see Gannon there? I exhale when I putt. He exhales once it gets in the basket.
So we got a nice little walk past the parking lot, past the shack. We head to hole 15. It says 399. It probably plays more like 550.
100%. It's just a nice steady slope until you get to the last third. Then it's extremely uphill. This is a Masters Cup only position.
Okay.
Only pull this out for the pro weekend of the Masters Cup. It's a little bit too extreme for normal play, and especially with erosion. Like where the basket is one of the most sloped positions you'll see a basket in disc golf. If there was no grass up there, it would be probably unfair to play.
I'm with you. You wouldn't be able to walk up there.
This is great to see. This hole used to be completely dry and devoid of life, and we've been closing the hill over the last several years and waddling it and seeding it and trying to get topsoil and growth again, and it's finally working. This is incredible to see. I love seeing all this grass on this hole now. Tony's a little bit on the left side there. He's going to have to kind of hyzer into this pin, which isn't ideal. Oh,
Found the little pocket.
thank you. It started to drop, but then it lifted.
Big difference right there, skirting over the top of that tree. Ooh. And there's a tree right off the box that makes that line pretty tough to hit. You could see him.
Wait. Oh, my goodness.
Across the road?
Across the road. That was
that is getting day-lawed right there. That was
initially we thought
quality.
he stuck in the tree, and then it dropped late, and then that happened, and then in hindsight, he would have been better off being stuck in the tree up there. But it found a window to roll down there, so there's a window to get back up. Look at that.
That's incredible shot. That was a 3-foot gap, like
Yeah.
3 feet in front of him.
Laced it, and look, he actually went long up this hill, which is just so hard to do.
And that putt coming down is scary. Even like a 15-footer is so scary.
Oh, Tony knows what can happen when you come in with angle, but it curls just fine.
He kind of rolled the dice on that one.
Oh, he was playing with fire, but it's the shot he had to throw, and it worked out. I'm not running that putt. That was just what I wanted to do. For a second, it kind of looked like it was going, but it better hit dead center chains or it's going back behind you. A lot faster than it got there. Yeah, this is not the 25-footer that Cole wanted for free on this hole.
just like that. Cole's going to go bogey, double bogey. That one hurts. He's been playing well.
It does. I really, really appreciate his composure, though. You know, he's sometimes a double bogey can change the attitude a little bit, but still, Cole's still a pleasure to play with, still a gentleman. You know, there's a lot to be said about that, especially at his age.
Called par 3.
Both these guys actually are a joy to play with. They're really fun. They're both students of the game, especially Gannon.
Super analytical mind.
Analyzing anything. If you want to start talking shots and form, and yeah, he's got everything for you. Man, Tony even mixed 10-footers look beautiful. All right, here we go. Hole 16, Rootville. Here we go, another one. As you can see, we kind of want to fly in this. The drone is taking you into the desired line here. A nice straight shot with maybe a little bit of late turn, but the ground play will actually give you a little Anheuser skip if you hit the right shot. This is another doozy. You're trying to just get up there clean because you want to avoid getting your disc on an edge on this hole.
Yeah, this is another one where you look at the distance after you play it and you're like, no.
Yeah, 276.
276.
This is all
This is
of
a full
400
rip.
foot. You got to have 400 foot, dead accurate.
Gannon going FX4 up the hill there, and
He's actually playing that for that shot. He knows the difficulty, and that if he hits that gap, he can consistently give himself a circle's edge putt. I heard him mention it. He's not going for the pin on this one. Very controlled, smart De La shot there.
I mean, when you're putting like he is, I
Right.
feel like it takes so much pressure off the game.
So true. He doesn't need to be in the circle to make his birdies.
Wow, that is a beautiful line.
So much to miss. That was tracking. That was kind of like an ace run line, actually. I'm very grateful to where my tree kicked onto this log here. As you notice, I actually got a nice little honk right in my backswing there, and I juiced it up a little bit, but it should be serviceable for my par. That was actually a similar putt that Tony had a couple of weeks ago when we were battling it out for Masters, and he canned it for a 2
Wow.
to get the one-stroke lead. It was pretty huge. Woo-wee. That one was a little left. I was standing right behind him, but off the pole and in the bucket.
Yeah, quality catch there. I kind of want to see the slow-mo of that one.
Yeah.
Sometimes with his nose down putt, that left side can actually work out pretty well for him.
I had a great angle. He was right left side of the pole, and it kind of just kicked off, hit the chains, and pulled it right in. It was a good putt, but definitely can pop out sometimes.
And all of a sudden, Gannon, 4 of the last 5, and he's six under for the round.
Right. Yeah.
Leading the pack.
Yeah, him and Cole kind of they switched roles here. Welcome to De La. It's a constant adventure until the end. You can never put your guard down on this course. Should be a better angle on it.
Oh, yeah, just came out of his hand just a fraction early, but
Ooh.
climbs back in
Everything
there.
good happening on that one. We like to see that. Here we go. This is actually the newest addition to holes at De La Viega. Normally 26A. Usually we would walk across this gap to the top of the world, but we put a nice flat shot on here, but if you're off the edge, it's nowhere near flat. About a 350-foot laser beam.
Yeah, pretty steep on the left and the right.
Yep, and I remember this is one we're dealing with a pretty strong right to left wind, which makes this shot so much more difficult.
Yeah, it makes it tricky for sure.
Because you kind of want to turn it over, but then you're turning it over into the wind, and that's what happens. If you expose the bottom of it all, it'll get pushed right off the left.
Again, and kind of overthinking that shot a little bit, and gets over the top of it, and Tony
does the
doing
opposite.
just the opposite there.
Yeah.
Is this a driver?
It is. I'm throwing a new stable pipeline, and got a little bit of cabbage, but it held true to its flight. I'll take that one. It's funny because you just can't really tell how windy it is by looking at this shot right now, but it was ripping. Right along the edge of the drop off there. He might have a look. Tony knew the repercussions of that shot and said, I'm going to throw a provisional.
Provisional.
This is basically for a lost disc, you know.
Just in case.
Just in case. We had a spotter down there. He ended up actually catching a tree. We're using 2 meter tall Gannon as it's basically, it's hard to tell from there, but it was about 3 inches above his head. So unfortunately, Tony has joined the 2 meter club.
No.
Yep.
And so he's not taking the provisional. He's throwing.
Right. The provisional was basically just for a lost disc.
Yeah.
Because it drops off up there. I think it was a smart thing to do because he actually kind of got a good. It's not very often you get a practice throw in there. He got a legal practice throw on that. Kind of a shot that it feels good to get a little extra throw in for next round maybe. Yeah, I was scared of that right to left wind, and didn't commit to the putt.
No. Gosh, man. Figure it out.
Cole vocalizing a little bit of the frustration, but that's about the extreme of what you're going to get out of him. Good par cleanup for Gannon there. As you can see, I got my little hill bag there. Got that at the night market in Chiang Mai. It's a wonderful 9-disc bag.
Man, what a trip you had, Shasta. 3 months in Southeast Asia?
Almost.
Whew.
Yeah, it was.
Word is you're going back, too. You loved it so much.
I would love it if I could spend every winter there for the rest of my life, to be honest. It's an incredible. I've never felt so at home, so far away from home. It's cool. Tony Tran actually is from Vietnam. He moved here in 1985.
Wow.
He's never been back, and it was nice. He didn't know about my trip because he's not on social media, and he knew I went to Thailand, but he didn't know I went to Vietnam. So it was cool. We were talking about the cities that his family lives in and what his few memories that he's got from back there. And
So cool.
such a great place. I'm like, Tony, his mom and his brother have gone back, but he needs to make it back to the homeland there. It's a beautiful part of the world and incredible people.
Well, this is one of the most iconic holes in our sport. This is at the top of the world. You can, on a clear day, see across Monterey Bay.
Yeah, right there. You can kind of see the smokestacks of Moss Landing there.
And they've actually moved this pin. We are playing to course hole 6's basket. They're calling this one a par 4. We have this mandatory. You have to go to the left of one of the protective fences. So you're looking to throw this shot like as close to the road as you can while staying safe.
Very true, because they also kind of made it into an OB peninsula. So ideally, you want to be within like circle 2 of the road to get the ideal upshot to this pin.
And we kind of had a tailwind right to left on Friday, and it makes this backhand pretty tricky.
Yeah, it does. You know, I'm throwing my most overstable hurricane in existence. It has no glide. I'm just trying to hyzer over those trees and get it right there. That's exactly what I was going for.
Quality shot.
Yep.
if you get that one just a little bit higher, it can just continue to hyzer, skip over the road in a heartbeat.
It's very true. This is a shot that Tony's very excellent at, and it looked really good out of his hand.
Is that a mid?
It's a mid. It's that rock, and it just kind of just stayed in the air. And
Well, see, there's the difference between your shot and Tony's. You
Yep.
kind of punched it
Right.
down toward the ground, and he kind of just put it flat in the air, and it just continued to glide out.
definitely, and it was, if he would have thrown a less glidey disc, yeah, it's such a touchy shot. You don't throw many shots in disc golf with this amount of elevation change just going down.
Ooh. DGA flags
Yeah.
blowing in his face.
Tony he wasn't quite sure. He was asking, he didn't know if he had to play with the flag there, if he could move it, but it's part of the course, so.
Whoa, Gannon goes jump putt
Yes.
and just leaves himself a death putt.
Death putt. Yeah, he range finded. He was 165 feet. We were kind of conversating about this shot, and he said, okay, I'll jump putt if it's not windy. And he was kind of waiting, and then he...
Oh, my dude.
Yeah! That's a nice way to finish, with a little bit of love off the whisker.
And after a huge forehand, Cole doesn't want any of it. He's going to lay up there for a 3-under opening round.
Tony's giving it a bid, but it stays safe for him.
So Gannon's sitting at 6. He's in the lead right now. Looking to move to 7 with this 32-footer.
Yeah. The wind was very swirly at this point in the game. As you know, it's pretty much opposite of what it was when we were driving.
Oh, there's a lot going on right here. Waiting on a biker, shuttle
Yeah.
bus.
Cannon, he was uncomfortable this whole hole. It kind of changed on the last hole. He was feeling so great, and then the wind was just messing with him. And yeah, but he'll have to walk away with the par. Probably with a little bit of hunger for tomorrow.
What a round he put together, though.
Yeah, it was incredible. We got to go back and count the feet on those puttings, and now we'll have a benchmark to know what an incredible putting round is.
Can someone in the comments help us out with that?
Yeah.
Just add it up for us,
Add us
guys.
up
We
for
would
us.
love it so much. And Shasta, carding a birdie there to finish your round. And, you know, typically you shoot over par. It feels horrible, but a 1 over, it's not that bad.
It honestly didn't. I played my game this round. I had 2 double bogeys with a little bit of unfortunateness, so it's just kind of the way it goes. If I can avoid those bigger numbers, I'll feel a lot better. You know, I know the difficulty. Like I was saying, this is more like a par 58, so it's kind of like I shot a even 1 under. And yeah.
And with the bogey there from Tony, you guys are actually playing together tomorrow.
Yep. This will be 4 rounds in a row we've been playing.
That's funny.
It's great. It's very comfortable. We've played so many rounds together. I'm not exhaling like I usually do on my putt.
Yeah, you're holding
gonna
your breath
fo-
on that one.
I'm focusing on that one today. I gotta exhale it in there. I gotta blow them in.
All right, taking a look at our scores. Gannon with just the 1 bogey there on the 11th, and Cole was 5 under through 13. Finds himself at 3 under at the end of the round, and Jacob Blair,
Yeah,
local.
local boy. Yeah,
Time.
we got a Connor Whiting, another Santa Cruzan. Jim Oates, 62-year-old Jim Oates, multiple Masters, Grandmasters world champion.
Yep, I had the pleasure of watching him shred the track, shooting a 3 down. We've got Greg Barsby and James Proctor for you guys in round 2. From Shasta, Criss, and Nate Perkins, thank you guys for joining us here on Central Coast Disc Golf.